maybe it's still too early because, yes, it's still just a few days after the release of this set. But all I'm going to say, you can call it FOMO, whatever you want to call it, but Journey Together did not do this, okay? Journey Together had hype. It was called mid. People said it was trash. People said it was going to crash. And some people were right on that. I mean, it didn't really crash, but it did drop in price a lot. After release, it did. After a few days, it did. And it continued to fall in price. But not Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals is nowhere near acting like Journey Together whatsoever. It's still just a couple days after release. Like I said, you can call it premature, too early to say this, but to me, I think this is all I need to see that no, this is not going to drop to Journey Together levels, at least in the near future. It's not. There's just so much evidence right now showing that it's not going to happen. I don't see it happening. I think it's basically almost impossible for it to drop to Journey Together levels at $200 a booster box. I don't see it happening, and honestly, I'm just shocked that this booster box is going up in price. Now, usually the first few days of release, you'll really see prices drop. If prices on pre-order were super inflated and everybody who said that it was overpriced, it was going to crash, everybody who says those sorts of things, usually the first few days, they'll be right on it, the first few weeks even, because people will dump stuff on the market. You'll see prices go down and people will be like, yeah, I told you so. And then depending on after the couple weeks, prices will either continue to go down, stay the same, or go up. But in just a few days, prices have not been going down like a lot of people have said that it was going to go down MSRP. Some people were saying that. Prices have gone up. This is abnormal because Journey Together did not do this, right? Journey Together dropped from 250 to like 230s and it stayed there for a little bit and then it continued to drop. It did not go up, okay? Journey Together did not go up. Destined Rivals dropped like the first, I'd say, few hours of being officially released, went up from dropping, and now it's continuing to go up. Right now, lowest listed is about $260. Guys, if you look at where this was at before releasing, it was at $265. So it is basically exactly where it was at before. And this box was $265. That's pretty crazy. For a box this expensive, hype seemingly maybe had fallen off a bit. A lot of people are calling it mid. Like, yeah, this is going to crash everyone. Destined Rivals. I mean, we're not seeing that, right? If there's any big indication that it was super overpriced, I'm telling you, on release day and even just a couple days after, prices would have dropped and not went up. 100% if it was that overpriced. But no, so far, I know it's maybe too early, but we are not seeing any evidence of that. Because really, it would really make sense if at 260, which is very expensive, you could say for a booster box $100 over MSRP, it would have quickly dropped in the next couple days after releasing, because it would have quickly adjusted. People would flooded the market. If it was overhyped, there was no demand. Cards were super easy to pull. Whatever the case may be for people saying that the prices were going to crash. I mean, we would see that instantaneously, but we're not seeing that now. The only thing in the next few weeks that's really going to prove to see what happens, I guess, to the prices is the pull rates, and I guess the demand for the set to see if there is continuation of demand or if it quickly falls off like Journey Together. That's going to be the big indicator after that. But at least initially, there seems to be a lot of demand. So Destined Rivals definitely is performing a lot stronger than I thought, and probably a lot of people, because I don't think anybody really saw this coming. A lot of people were calling this to go down, to crash, but it hasn't. So just want to show you guys where these product prices are, where the card prices are, and yeah, just to do an overview a few days after being released. So like I showed you guys right now, booster boxes around $260, just like $5 under where they initially were at before being released. You look at sales volume, the first day, 450 boxes sold. The next day, which is pretty much as we're recording this, 180 boxes sold at an average price of $255. Obviously, initial day, there's going to be a ton of sales. Then things are going to taper off. We'll see where this sorts of falls off. Obviously, 180 boxes, it's going to keep going down as time goes on, but we'll see where the sales volume sort of ends up and where it sort of maybe stabilizes. But yeah, a lot of boxes, 180 selling at 255. And you can see, 260 pretty much being where we're at right now in terms of prices. So yeah, this booster box has really not dropped in price at all from, I guess, pre-order prices. Now, if you go on eBay, you're not going to find them much cheaper. You will find a few, listings for like 250. You will find cases here for 1500, which is 250 a box. But you're not finding really any of these for any cheaper. They're just pretty much what you're going to get at 250, 260. That's sort of it. So yeah, pretty crazy. Next, the ETBs. Now, out of the booster box and ETB, pricing, though this one shocks me the most because I really thought the normal ETB, being able to scalp these and stuff would drop a ton more from what they were initially at 120. But yeah, they did drop. But I mean, look at the sales volume here. At these prices, and they're not going down. I mean, lowest list is $67 for a normal ETB. That's pretty crazy because, if you see what Journey Together dropped to at one point, it's starting to go up a little bit now. It dropped, I think, in the mid or low 60s. And at one point, I think the ETB was it like 150? It was something crazy, their Journey Together ETBs. But Destined Rivals is holding very strong in the 90s, which, Journey Together, I mean, it's still, I think, in the low 70s or something like that. So yeah, crazy to see. Destined Rivals ETBs being this expensive. Another sign that, it's a much more high demand set than Journey, and probably won't reach those prices considering that the ETBs are like basically $100, which is a few days after release, which you would probably expect at this point them to go down further. If they were really going to crash, you'd probably see that a few days after being released from all the people find them at Targets, Walmarts, but we are not seeing any signs of that. You go on eBay, same thing. You're not going to find any listings really under market price. They're all around $95 to $100. Now the PC ETB, I've said it before, I thought these were going to go maybe in the mid hundreds. They're in the high hundreds. They've dropped like 20 or 30 bucks from pre-order pricing. Same thing with all these products, as you can see here. From pre-order pricing, they've dropped very insignificantly. I really thought these were going to drop more because, these were available on Pokemon Center for a while on the drop for these PC ETBs. I know you could only order one of them, but I know multiple people were able to get multiple orders in. But these haven't dropped like much at all. Like I said, like 20 bucks. Sales volume for these obviously has been pretty high as well at this price point. On eBay, obviously you're gonna probably see more of these being sold than on TCG Player. But yeah, you can see a lot being sold on here. Now on eBay, same thing as all the other products. You're not going to find them any cheaper than TCG Player. They're actually a little bit more expensive here at like around 190. So yeah, all the prices here across the board are pretty consistent with eBay and TCG Player. Yeah, I'm still very surprised that all these prices really have not changed at all. Now going towards talking about the card prices, which is going to be a huge indicator of if this set stays this expensive or goes up or goes down. Prices are starting to drop a bit. Now, this is not surprising at all. Obviously, I mean, people are opening up this set every single day. More supply on the market. We'll obviously see how supply and demand goes with this set. But card prices are dropping a bit. Nothing crazy. But the pricing you're seeing right here on the screen and the total set value is inaccurate, as I'll show you guys. Just the top 4 cards here. I'm really surprised the secret rare or the gold card is just going for so much. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys just these 4 cards because we're not going to go through every single card here. But yeah, some of these cards probably are also a little bit cheaper than what's listed here. So first, Team Rocket's Mewtwo, you can see right here, it says $450. If you go to recent sales on eBay, they're selling for around like $400 flat. Some are selling for like $450, closer to $500. Obviously, some of these are probably selling for more because of the condition they're in. Some people are probably making grading plays, but these are selling for around $400. So the $450 you're seeing here is a little bit on the higher end. Cynthia's Garchomp is selling for around $200. If you go on here, it's selling for $255. So it is, once again, a little bit more expensive. So that's already knocking off $100 off the total set value. Ethan's Ho-Oh is selling for around, $180 to $200. It can kind of range. Right here on this website, it's listed for $200, so it's not that far off. And then, lastly here, the Moltres is selling for around like $150, and on here, it's listed for around $150. So I guess this is not too far off. So it's mainly these two that were like off by a good bit, and I bet you also these cards too are probably off by a little bit. So this total set value will have to be adjusted in the next few days. This website, I don't think updates it every single day, or if it I don't think it's really changed because I checked my last video that I made yesterday. talking about Destined Rivals, and that was the exact same total set value. So it hasn't changed yet. But yeah, the car prices have dropped a bit for these top ones, but still overall, everything's holding decently strong. You guys can check all these prices and compare to see how much they've dropped as well, but I'm not going to go through that, all these cards in this video. So I just wanted to do this update on Destined Rivals. Once again, I said it in the last videos, I will probably be making updates every single day just to keep up with the market, because the first few weeks can really, there could be some days where things go crazy, or we might see signs of something happening. So I will continue to update you guys on prices of singles and the sealed product as we go on. But yeah, still, we're a couple days in. Prices are not going down. They're continuing to go up, which is very different from Journey Together. And maybe some signs that this is not going to be the same thing at all. Maybe some people were expecting it to happen, but so far, from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So that's all I want to talk about here today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.